For decades they called her a fraud, a fake, and her predictions were buried and forgotten. But what if I told you that Sylvia Browne's most enigmatic prophecy, a repeating cycle of human history, has already begun? The signs are subtle, easy to miss, but they are appearing exactly as she described. This isn't a coincidence, it's a countdown, and the next 24 hours will be anything but normal. Imagine a woman who, for over 50 years, stood in the global spotlight, delivering psychic readings and future prophecies to millions. Sylvia Browne was a figure shrouded in equal parts devotion and controversy, a name that could divide a room with a mere mention. She authored countless books, appeared on countless shows, and made predictions that were sometimes stunningly accurate and other times devastatingly wrong. The world of the skeptical and the scientific largely dismissed her as a charlatan, a master of cold reading and vague statements. And when she passed, it seemed her legacy would fade into obscurity, becoming nothing more than a footnote in the history of the paranormal. But history has a strange way of resurrecting what we try to bury. In the quiet corners of her extensive writings, particularly in works like End of Days, Browne described patterns, cosmic cycles that humanity seems destined to repeat. She spoke of an era where the lessons we failed to learn in the past would come back to us, not as a gentle reminder, but as a forceful echo. For years, this idea was seen as just another vague, unprovable spiritual concept, easy to ignore in the relentless forward march of our modern, technologically driven society. Yet today, if you pause and look at the world with a critical eye, the echoes are becoming deafening. We see rising social tensions, a palpable global anxiety, strange climatic shifts, and a collective feeling that we have been here before, that we are reliving a chapter from a history book we thought we had closed. The parallels are no longer easy to dismiss as mere coincidence. They are stacking up, forming a pattern that mirrors the very cycles Sylvia Browne warned us about. A pattern she claimed would return with unmistakable clarity. And the most chilling part of her prophecy is the mechanism of its arrival. According to Browne, these grand global shifts are never announced by trumpets or explosions for everyone to see at once. Instead, they first manifest within us, in the intimate, personal landscape of our own bodies and our own consciousness. She insisted that before the world changes, the individual changes first, experiencing a series of subtle, often overlooked spiritual and physiological signals. We are the canaries in the coal mine of cosmic transformation, and the canaries are beginning to sing. Sylvia Browne described this incoming cycle as a wave of spiritual energy that physically prepares the human vessel for what is to come, and the first signs are often the most intimate and disorienting. Many people will experience, especially in this pivotal time, sudden and unexplained chills or waves of energy coursing through their body when there is no logical, physical reason for it. You could be sitting in a perfectly temperate room, comfortable and at ease, when a powerful shudder runs down your spine, a sensation that feels less like being cold and more like being electrically charged or touched by an unseen presence. This is not a medical condition to be feared, but rather, according to Browne's teachings, your spiritual body awakening and becoming more attuned to the shifting frequencies of the planet. A literal download of new energy that your physical form is learning to process and integrate into your very being. Another profound and common signal is the realm of dreams becoming hyper-vivid, intense, and strangely symbolic. We are not talking about your typical, forgettable dreams, but rather experiences that feel more real than reality itself. Dreams that stay with you for the entire day, clinging to your consciousness with an almost urgent weight. You might wake up with a profound sense of having learned something crucial or having visited a place that felt simultaneously alien and deeply familiar, or having communicated with entities or loved ones who delivered a message you can't quite recall but can deeply feel. Brown interpreted these dreams as our soul's way of traveling, processing and receiving information unshackled from the limitations of our waking mind, a direct line to the collective unconscious where the blueprint of this great cycle is being activated. A third, and often unsettling sign, is a pervasive and growing sense of restlessness, an inner agitation that has no clear source. You might find it impossible to settle down, feeling a compelling need to move, to change something in your life, to purge old belongings, or to seek out new environments and people. This isn't the simple boredom of modern life. It's a deep, spiritual itch that cannot be scratched by mundane solutions. It's a feeling that you are waiting for something monumental to happen, that you are on the precipice of a great change, and your soul is growing impatient with the slow pace of your physical reality. This inner turmoil, Brown suggested, is the friction created as your higher self tries to align your current life path with the new destiny that this cycle is bringing forth. Perhaps the most classic and widely reported sign is the powerful, undeniable sensation of déjà vu. But we are not talking about a fleeting moment of familiarity. This is a profound, layered experience where you are struck with the unshakable conviction that you have lived this exact moment before. The same words spoken, the same scene before your eyes, the same feeling in the air. According to Sylvia Brown's cosmology, these are not glitches in the matrix, but rather moments where the veil between the cycles becomes thin. You are quite literally brushing up against a memory from a past iteration of the same cycle, an echo of your own soul's journey, confirming that the path we are on is one we have walked before, and the choices we make now are more critical than ever. Finally, a sign that many might misinterpret as simple anxiety is a sudden intense feeling of longing or homesickness for a place or a state of being that you cannot name. It's a deep, soul-level yearning for home. But you don't know where or what that home is. It can be triggered by a piece of music, a certain quality of light, or even a specific landscape, bringing you to the verge of tears with its intensity. Brown would say this is your soul remembering its true origin, its connection to the divine and to the collective, and it is reacting to the incoming energies of this cycle by trying to pull you back towards that source, urging you to remember who you truly are and why you are here at this precise moment in history. According to Sylvia Brown's spiritual framework, these personal, intimate symptoms are not random anomalies. They are the direct consequence of a massive, invisible shift occurring at a planetary and collective level. She often spoke of the Earth itself as a living, conscious entity that undergoes its own cycles of spiritual cleansing and evolution. We are currently, as she predicted, entering one of these profound phases, a period where the very energy grid of the planet is being upgraded, its frequency rising to a new octave of vibration. This shift emits a powerful, ambient energy that interacts directly with the human energy field, or the aura, and because our physical bodies are intrinsically linked to this spiritual blueprint, they begin to react in these very specific physical ways. This concept aligns with older esoteric and even some modern metaphysical beliefs, which propose that humanity is moving from the third dimension, a state of consciousness dominated by separation, materialism, and linear time, into the fourth dimension, a state characterized by heightened intuition, unity, consciousness, and a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. The restlessness, the vivid dreams, the electric chills, these are all symptoms of our own consciousness straining and expanding to accommodate this new, more complex reality. It is a spiritual puberty of sorts, and like any puberty, it is often awkward, confusing, and filled with strange and unexplained growth pains as our old self struggles to coexist with the new one emerging. The timing is also not an accident. Brown connected these cycles to periods of great turmoil and upheaval in human history, where the old systems, political, social, economic, and environmental, begin to crumble under the weight of their own inherent flaws and corruption. We are living through the literal collapse of these outdated structures all around us. The collective anxiety and fear generated by this collapse create a fertile ground for spiritual awakening. When the external world becomes too chaotic and unreliable, people are forced to turn inward for answers and stability, thereby becoming more receptive to the subtle energies and signals that they would have otherwise ignored in more comfortable and stable times. Furthermore, Sylvia Brown emphasized that this is not a passive process that simply happens to us. The emergence of these signs is a direct call to action from our own higher selves, our soul. It is an urgent invitation to begin the inner work, to shed the layers of trauma, fear, and limiting beliefs that keep us tethered to the old, dying cycle. The feeling of longing for home is your soul pushing you to seek your spiritual tribe and your true life's purpose. The agitation is a demand to change your circumstances. The dreams are a guidebook. To ignore these signals is to ignore a personal invitation to evolve and to risk being left behind, spiritually and energetically, as the world moves forward into this new chapter. This is why the prophecy feels so immediate and personal. It's not a distant, abstract prediction about world events. It's a diagnosis of the human condition at a pivotal crossroads. The grand, global cycle that Brown described is not a separate entity from our personal lives. It is the macrocosm, and we are the microcosm. The same energy that is shifting continents and toppling empires is also shifting the very atoms of our being, stirring our subconscious and awakening a dormant spiritual DNA. We are not just observers of this prophecy. We are active participants, and the strange sensations we are feeling are the opening lines of our role in this cosmic play. So what is the ultimate purpose of this turbulent and mysterious transition? According to Sylvia Brown, these uncomfortable and disorienting signs are the birth pangs of a profound spiritual renaissance, a global awakening that she often referred to as the Golden Age. This is not a cycle of destruction for its own sake, but one of necessary purification. The old paradigms of greed, separation, and fear that have dominated human consciousness for millennia are being systematically dismantled because they are incompatible with the higher vibrational reality we are entering. The feelings of agitation and restlessness we experience are, on a collective scale, the human spirit rejecting the limitations of the old world and yearning to build something new, something rooted in unity, compassion, and authentic spiritual power. This period of transition, however, will not be uniformly peaceful or easy. Brown was clear that the shift would also amplify the polarization in the world. As the energy rises, it will force everything that is hidden into the light. Corruption, injustice, and deep-seated societal lies will be exposed at an accelerating rate. This is why the current times feel so chaotic and divisive. It is the intense friction between the rising energy of the new cycle and the entrenched, resistant energy of the old one. Individuals are also facing this polarization within themselves, feeling a strong push to choose between operating from a place of love and faith or succumbing to fear and separation. The cycle does not judge this choice, but it certainly amplifies its consequences. For the individual who heeds the call, the one who pays attention to the chills, deciphers the dreams, and embraces the restlessness as a catalyst for change, Brown promised a monumental shift in personal reality. She described the emergence of what she called super-psychic abilities becoming commonplace. This doesn't necessarily mean everyone will become a professional psychic, but rather that intuition, empathy, and a deep, innate knowing will become as natural as breathing. We will communicate more through thought and feeling, understand the interconnectedness of all life, and find ourselves guided by a synchronicity so constant it becomes the new normal. The longing for home will be satisfied by the realization that home is a state of consciousness, not a physical location. This is precisely why the next 24 hours are so critical. Sylvia Browne emphasized that the grand cycle turns on the cumulative choices of individuals in the present moment. The signs you feel today are not a distant forecast. They are an immediate personal invitation to align yourself with this incoming wave of energy. Every time you choose love over fear, unity over division, or faith over despair, you are not just improving your own life. You are actively casting a vote for the kind of world this new cycle will become. You are literally using the energy of this prophecy to shape your own destiny. The cycle is inevitable, but our experience of it is a co-creation between the cosmos and our own free will. Therefore, the prophecy of Sylvia Browne is ultimately one of immense hope, but it is a hope that demands participation. It tells us that the turmoil and the strange personal symptoms are not a descent into darkness, but the necessary and painful process of a caterpillar transforming in its chrysalis. The world is not ending, it is rebirthing, and we are not mere victims of this process. We are the very cells of this new world being born. The question is not if the cycle is happening, but what role you will choose to play in it. Will you dismiss the signs as coincidence, or will you recognize them as the wake-up call they were always meant to be? As we stand at this precipice, looking back at the enigmatic words of Sylvia Browne, a startling picture comes into focus. The ridicule and the dismissal that once defined her legacy are now being challenged by the undeniable patterns unfolding in our world and within our very beings. The grand, cyclical prophecy of a returning era of upheaval and awakening is no longer a concept confined to the pages of a forgotten book. It is a living, breathing reality, manifesting in our collective experience and in the intimate, inexplicable sensations that countless individuals are reporting across the globe. The coincidence is too perfect, the alignment too precise to be ignored any longer. This understanding transforms our personal experiences from random anomalies into meaningful signposts on a grand cosmic map. That sudden chill, that hauntingly vivid dream, that profound sense of restlessness, they are not glitches in your reality. They are confirmations. They are the evidence that you are not separate from the great turning of the ages, but are, in fact, an integral and active component of it. Your consciousness is the field where this battle between the old world and the new is being fought, and every moment of awareness, every choice made from a place of love and courage, contributes to the outcome. Sylvia Browne's true message was never about passive prediction. It was a call to conscious participation. She provided not a fatalistic doom scroll, but a spiritual roadmap. By recognizing the signs she described, we can navigate this turbulent transition with purpose rather than fear. We can understand the personal agitation as a catalyst for necessary change, the emotional longing as a compass pointing toward our true spiritual tribe, and the synchronicities as affirmations that we are on the right path, exactly where we are meant to be. Therefore, the prophecy is not a sentence. It is an invitation. It is an invitation to shed the skin of who we thought we were and to embrace the emerging potential of who we are destined to become. It asks us to look beyond the chaos of the headlines and to tune into the quiet revolution happening within our own souls. The next 24 hours and every hour that follows present a choice: to retreat into the comfort of the familiar, dying world, or to step forward with courage into the uncertain but infinitely more authentic world being born. The cycle Sylvia Browne foresaw has indeed begun. Its energy is here now, pulsating through the planet and echoing in the quiet moments of your own awareness. This is not the end of the story, but a magnificent and terrifying new beginning. The question that remains, the only one that truly matters, is this: Will you hear the call? And more importantly, will you have the courage to answer? If this journey into the unknown resonated with you, if you've felt these signs yourself, then you cannot afford to miss what comes next. Subscribe to the channel now, because in our next video, we will reveal the specific practices Sylvia Brown recommended to not just survive, but to thrive during this great shift. Hit the like button if you felt the truth in this message, and share your own experiences in the comments below. The awakening is collective, and your story is a vital part of it.